All right, I think we're live. I think we're ready to go.
What's going on?
So yeah, what's up? What's up with everybody? Just to intro us all today, my name is Kyron Loggins. I'm an alum of the Hidden Genius Project's fourth cohort out of Oakland. Sometimes it's easy to get lost in those numbers.
Are we already live? Or did he say, I think he said in the chat in 30 seconds.
No, we're live.
Oh, okay. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, we're live. But you're good. And we are here with James Green, who is also a member of the fourth cohort.
Cohort 4, baby.
In addition to that, he is the founder of Fix My Kicks, his own company that focuses on shoe restoration, amongst other things.
Yes,
you want to tell us a little bit about yourself, James?
Yeah, so my name is James Green. I grew up in Oakland, California. Like Kyron said, I am an alumni of the Hidden Genius Project, Cohort 4. I founded Fix My Kicks once I graduated, and Fix My Kicks, an online marketplace for shoe restoration and customization services. And so more about my sneakers. I love sneakers, and yeah, that's what we're on a mission to close the gap between fast fashion and environmental sustainability, and empowering this industry and making these services more accessible.
That's dope. That's dope. That's dope. So I guess before we get into, exactly what Fix My Kicks is doing right now and, the path you're on with that, I kind of want to ask you a little bit about, growing up and what success looks like from gestation, not necessarily from the first moment you trademark your business or from the day that you launch your website, but what does success look like from, the day that you're born, the day that you start kindergarten? So I guess if I had a question for you, it would be, what was the first thing you remember wanting to be growing up?
As a kid, like as far as I could think back, like I as a kid, I always loved animals. So I think like really young, for most of my childhood, probably up until like third grade, maybe, I was going to be a veterinarian, and I knew it, like, for sure. And I wanted to work with animals in some way or capacity. And I still love my animals today.
Definitely. I like that. I feel like growing up, a lot of our like desires and our passions are formed by, like the things we enjoy. Like growing up, I love planes. I didn't know what it would take to fly one. I didn't know if that was like what I wanted to do in terms of spending my time when I got older, but I used to say I wanted to be a pilot because I wanted to be in a plane,
Right.
So I think we do grow up. It's like we like animals. I want to be a vet. I don't care how much school it takes. I don't care.
I know it's excited. But I know it's like, right, and that that's why I think it's really beautiful. Like I still got my reptiles today, and like that early on passion. I say this a lot. Like just my family like pushed me to like explore and like be curious, and so I always like just loved animals and wanted to be involved in like the things that I was passionate about. And I think about middle school, I started Googling salaries.
I was gonna say that was kind of gonna be my next question. Of course you wanted to be a vet because you enjoyed animals, but I would ask you, like, at what age or what time period do you remember like money becoming a factor in your dreams? Like I think that again, growing up, we say things like, I want to be a pilot, or some kids even will say like things like, I want to do career X, Y, and Z, and then you Google it and it's not the money you think you want to be making when you grow up and you're crushed. Right. So kind of like, when was that for you that you kind of realized, money was a factor in your dreams and money was a factor in the things you wanted to do?
I think for me, like I started thinking about money a lot earlier than I think the average young person was. So I think it just come from a place at home. So at home, it was obvious we were struggling. You know what I mean? And so I had that passion, like wanting to work with animals. But I know like in that fourth, fifth, sixth grade, I started making this transition of like kind of like tapping into this like really like realistic part of myself and started thinking about those things. And I remember like third grade, I started like selling toys at school. It's like my hustle started kicking in, and me realizing, like things I want to do cost money, and my family doesn't have that. And so I think around late elementary, I started like realizing the importance of making money. I think by sixth grade, I was looking at salaries and like, yo, animals are dope, but like I know what I know. My mom doesn't. My parents, my dad makes this. My mom makes this. I need significantly more than both of them, like to have the life I want. And so I like then from there was I think by middle school. I thought I knew venture capitalists made money. I didn't really know what a venture capitalist was, but I remember before I even knew what venture capitalist was, I want to be a venture capitalist, or I'm gonna be a businessman. And in sixth grade, I'm selling candies. And so by early middle school, late elementary, I valued money a lot, and I realized that I didn't want to be I wanted money in my life, and that became a big motivator to like decisions I would make towards like as far as dreams as a kid, as still a young person though, still young James.
Definitely, I agree. I think that that's like, I think it's a big factor, especially when we talk about, like how our socioeconomic standing growing up factors like our dreams, our passions, our belief systems, even about, not only the economy and all those types of things, but just like, what do you actually want to do growing up? I remember like, I used to tell people I wanted to be a CEO or all these things, and I had no idea what they did. I still really like, if I sit down with you right now, a CEO, depending on what company you're the CEO of, I couldn't tell you what I wanted to work in, what industry I wanted to be. I just could tell you I wanted that because it sounded like a great title and it sounded like they had made a lot of money.
Right.
And so I think that that's like, of course, when we're kids, that's one thing, but it also has an influence when we grow up and we go to high school, then college, and even like beyond. It really does have an influence on the things you tell yourself that you want to do. It has an influence on a lot of the majors people will choose and things like that.
Right.
That dream of making money outside of necessarily what are we passionate about, or what are we even good at? What do we think makes money can be the what we want to do.
For sure.
I would ask you though, like, what do you consider to be the beginning of your personal success story when we talk about, like that type of thinking, getting outside of the box of like, oh, I want to be successful. I know that these are the things that I've been told makes that success. How did you kind of, decide for yourself, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, which is, I don't think something that, of course we went to the Hidden Genius Project, so that's a different experience for us. But I don't think a lot of people, not only in our generation, but just in general, are kind of, informed on that even being an option. When did that become an option for you?
Okay. All right. So there was a lot. I was following questions and then you elaborated. So spit that one more time to me, and then I got you.
I guess my biggest question for you would be, when did you realize like entrepreneurship is a choice for you?
When I realized entrepreneur. That's an interesting question. I think I would put it back is in like, when did I realize that it wasn't not a choice? Like, I think like early on I realized that was the only option. Like I think, or like back to those elementary days, just the people that were around, like growing up in East Oakland or spending a little time in Richmond, and like we was in the hood, we was broke, and we were around other broke people trying to make it happen, struggling, not knowing how to make it happen, but trying a bunch of different things. And so for me, I admired people with hustle. I admired people who, through all the adversities and everyday life, have something else falling apart, like, we gotta wake up and go get it, no matter what that means. And so to me, that just like, it was more of like I didn't understand it was entrepreneurship yet, but my whole life I always knew that like there is and my dad has always been a real hard worker. And so like there was no like, no matter what you have, like, I know this ain't the life I want, and I have to grind for whatever and anything I want. Any information I'm seeking, I'm gonna have to seek twice as hard for it. And any money I want, I'm gonna have to hustle twice as hard. So for me, it was like I will not allow I was born into unfortunate circumstances, but I decided that is not how I will go out. You know what I mean? I'm going out like a king, and the time like as a young person, like that's just where my mind was. How do I make some bread on the weekends? I'm trying to get a lemonade stand popping, get a garage sale for whatever garbage we got, and so for me it was not like like this is a route. It was more so just like, if whatever route I do want, so I can do the things I want to do, like it's a hustle, like on the way there. So it wasn't necessarily my path of career. It was for me, it was like, yo, I like hustling is how I could get wherever I want to go. And I think like understanding, I realized so I didn't then just carrying that my whole life. Like I was really exposed to entrepreneurship, showing up to like the Hidden Genius Project for real. But in between, I always just carried this idea of like, ain't nobody finna give you nothing. They're just finna show up on your lap without preparation and grind and hard work for it. And so put that in. So when it shows up, you ready.
Definitely. And I remember meeting you and you were like that. Forever. I guess to segue that, like into your business and what you do now, how did you take that, that fire for not only success, but also like the information that you did want to be your own boss and you did want to create things for yourself and you did want to be an entrepreneur? How did you take that and, bring that into the conception of Fix My Kicks? How did all that become your business that you've come up with so far?
Man, I think so. It was like this. So it's like where did everything like kind of like start, like, but before we started, like you asked me like where do you feel like you consider your success story starting, right? And so like for me, like I would describe it as like the beginning of what I thought was my downfall, or what I thought was me taking high risk because I didn't know what to do with myself. And so for me, the beginning to everything was me being like, I feel confined by the restrictions I have as a 15-year-old. And man, I don't feel clear as the path forward. So I'm leaving this environment, I'm going over here, and I'm gonna start making my own decisions on my own. And what that looked like was me just like running around in the streets and with the homies and goofing off and not paying attention to anything like positive for me, just trying to hustle like on my own outside. And so like for me, like learning these experiences on my own, struggling, like not having as much support as I needed to thrive as a young teenager, as a young man growing up in Oakland would need, like it that whole experience of me like falling apart and kind of like expose myself to even further levels of like poverty and just kind of disconnecting myself from like my family and the resources I had to go explore like what I thought was for me and in that, like having the folks who love me like surround me and really try to nurture me and pull me like, yo, what do you want? Like, like what do you need? And for me, I was like, yo, I need a job. I need to make some money. I want to have, like, I feel like I'm just going with the wind. Like, oh, I'm supposed to be in school. Like, I need to follow these rules. I'm 16. Like, how do I figure like this life thing out? And so my mom, she pushed me into Hidden Genius. But I really actually was surprised by the environment there, and being the learning environment there was something completely brand new that I never experienced before. And they supported me as a young Black man and related to my background and were able to be like, yo, we see the hustle you carry and the skills you possess, and like, this is entrepreneurship. Like, check this out. Listen, like, check this out. But first they got me a job, because I was like, when they first told me, I was still like, that sounds like a couple years away, my good brother. Where's, like, I need some bread. And so they plugged me on a job. Once I realized this job was not it, I was able to be like, okay, how do I do this? And so I think one major piece of motivation was like, all of this was still out of reach. I'm still like this broke kid in Oakland. When I leave this program, I'm going back straight to nothing in poverty and just us trying at home. And so George Hofstetter came back to talk to us one day and said, my brother got a big check for Cop Stop. And I knew George from the summer, you feel me? I knew George was working on Cop Stop. And I'm like, we all working on a project, right? George came back and he got a little situation with Capital One. My guy got a check. He said he's doing good. I'm like, that for me, like, this is brother who's the same age as me. He's Black. He grew up in the Bay. That something there, like besides the support of the staff and like me actually enjoying this learning environment, I was like, it changed it from, this is a learning environment to that this is real. I like this hustle I've always carried, this lust for like, how do I create wealth for myself and my people? Like, George showed me that the opportunity was real, and everything that Hidden Genius was talking about is feasible.
Definitely. And you kind of talk about, even as a person who comes out of having like that entrepreneurial spirit for themselves, having kind of being centered and not knowing what you want already, just thinking that it's out of reach kind of can be a deterrent from even pursuing it.
For
And
sure.
so I think that, we have been blessed to have different resources. One of the hugest ones of them being the Hidden Genius Project. But what does that affect on people who don't have that? And what do you think that happens to genius, when it doesn't have the resources to thrive?
Oh, it's those stories that we hear about in the news. It's the young brothers who, because and it could have easily been me, or like it is those brothers who don't have the access to the resources that I needed, so they took someone's phone or someone's laptop on BART. It is someone who don't have the same access to resources we do, so they're in the streets. Taking someone else's resources, like these are like, and I just like, I want to be clear, it could have easily been me, and we come from those same circumstances, you know what I mean? Like what doesn't happen, it's a brother who looks just like me sitting in Santa Rita for 20 years, like and so we think about like, what does it look like I have friends hooked on meth the same age, like the because there wasn't access, there's not enough, there's not enough exposure, there's not enough intentionality, and so that yeah, that's what it looks like. It's heartbreaking because there's not enough of these resources.
Yeah. And then in addition to that, you kind of spoke about George and how being around, somebody who, even though you guys don't necessarily have the same stories, even have the same interests, or even necessarily like your projects aren't the same, uh, seeing him and seeing what he did was inspirational. And it wasn't necessarily like, inspirational in the way that we hear, oh, I read a story about somebody and they inspired me, like this, that, and the other. It was like inspirational in the way that you met somebody that that you were in close proximity to, that you got to be actually, like touched by their story. And so
Yeah.
how is it like knowing that for a lot of people, and especially a lot of the geniuses that come behind you, you are that person for them?
Man, and that's what it's very humbling. It keeps me grounded and trying to be intentional about my decisions, like I mean, I like the way George, when me and George kick it, we talk about now, like George was just going in there that day, to do what he did, right? George didn't know he was gonna go in there and change my life. You know what I mean? Like on some real, like for reals, like, and that's my brother. You feel me? He's probably like, oh, that's cliche, but like really, like, but I was working on fixing my kicks and getting through the program. I've been in programs, right? Like, not what else could have made it that real for me? You know what I mean? And so like when I reached a certain point and was like, oh, like, all right, I'm actually making progress with Fix My Cakes. I'm graduated, like, and like Hingia started to calling on me to come to support as a youth educator or travel with them and talk about like my learnings. Like I working with different young people and different conversations I had, I learned the importance it is for us to see ourselves in these roles of power, in these roles of opportunity, in these roles of abundance, of access. Like it's so important to see ourselves there and to see someone like us there, see someone we know there, like because it makes it that much real for us. Like, there's some like, and that like that's the only reason I thought my only opportunities growing up were gonna be selling drugs, like being on the block or being somewhere in Oakland, because that's all I knew, that's all I seen. So and it's in the same way. I knew I didn't want that, but I mean, like what else am I gonna do? Work at Walgreens? Like when I seen it, like, yo, this is how we can build wealth and build the structural change and built by us, the things that we need, like, and because I come from community organizing, I've always been interested in like how to put the wealth together. So like it's like for me it's just like it's super important, and it's helped me like ground myself and be the person I want to be the man I want to be, and just know that everybody's watching even when you don't notice.
Yeah. And then, you speak to how it's difficult to want to be something if you haven't seen anybody who looks like you be it, or if nobody that's around you is doing it. And, as somebody who is kind of a pioneer amongst, especially their age group in their community, do you ever feel, imposter syndrome at times about, not only just the terms of, however we measure success, but also just the spaces you enter or even the activities you partake in? Does it ever get to you? And if it does, how do you know you handle with that?
Yeah, man. Like I deal with imposter syndrome all the time. Like, cause like there's all the time, every day, like coming into different conversations, like especially like being 21. I don't have a college degree. I like, but I'm working with a team of folks. Everyone's older than me. We're trying to reach these goals. I don't have experience in this field. I'm learning as I'm trying to build a plan. So when like it's hard to know, like you never know. You just do what you can the best to like learn as much you can as fast as you can and to try to get as much information as you can to figure out if you're on the right path. But the frustrating thing in that creates the imposter syndrome is like a lot of people don't know if you're on the right path. Like it's a unique path and being and a lot of times like it's no one really knows. No one really knows. Like so you just gotta like it's a and it's a new space. I don't really have a side like that's something I'm dealing with. So I think more so like, oh, here's a solution that I don't practice. Like imposter syndrome is real and I have ups and downs of times where I'm like struggling with my mental health and I need support. I need to call on my support network. Um and then I have times where I feel like I'm killing it and I'm on top of the world and nobody can tell me nothing. Um and so it's just yeah, you can't always count on motivation, and I'm learning that. And you got it. Discipline is more dependable.
For sure. Well, you've given us a ton of, business know-how, tips and tricks, all those types of things. And we've talked a lot about Fix My Kicks, but we haven't necessarily, been able to give the viewers a little bit of a slice of exactly what that is. So without giving away too much of the secret sauce, what is Fix My Kicks? What is that business model?
For sure, for sure. So with Fix My Kicks, we're a marketplace for shoe restoration and shoe customization. And so we're building out is a marketplace for folks who offer these services, cobblers, restorers online, customizers who work with shoes and restore the value to shoes, or customizers who do that. And we're connecting them to their customers who are looking to purchase these services. So we're building out is a platform where these transactions can happen safely. Currently, we have a website where customers can place an order, let us know what they're looking to get done, and we'll connect. We connect the order with the service provider, and we handle everything. So you can visit us at fixmykicks.com. We have the marketplace coming soon this year, 2021. And like I said, everything's always something to be worked through. So we know it's coming this year, but no solid timelines.
For sure, for sure, for sure. And just to close us out, what's in the future for you, for Fix My Kicks and beyond? What does James Green 2020s look like?
Yeah, for sure. For Fix My Kicks, I'm really excited to launch, get the platform out there. I'm really excited to increase the amount of cobblers, restorers, artists that we can work with. Really excited to expand our reach to folks who are aware of our business and our brand, as we're a sustainable alternative to the 90% of all shoes worldwide that end up in the landfill. And so I'm really excited just to be doing something fly, fashionable, but be talking about it in a perspective of how can we be fly, fashionable, and protect our planet. And so what I am looking to do personally moving forward is I'm really excited to start spending a little more time with my personal brand. I'm a creative. I've learned so much just mentally transforming from who I was at 16, 17 to who I am now at 2021. So I'm working on, I'm developing courses. I'm creating my website so folks can book me as a public speaker, as well as I'm creating music. So I'm just looking to do a lot to take care of me and continue to express myself and voice my thoughts. And hope to continue to inspire other folks.
For sure. And just before we, wrap up and let everybody go, I'm also heard that you do the Alumni Venture Seed Fund with the Hidden Genius Project. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Mouth is getting parched. The Alumni Venture Seed Fund is literally like when I got like it is amazing. So what it is, it's exactly what I needed. It is a 6 month program starting November and in April 6. So 6 month program where we are alumni of Hidden Genius who have a idea that they want to take a business idea that they want to take to the next level. We're going through an accelerator. We're learning about business ideation, technology, marketing, venture being how to take your idea to be an investor ready. I know I'm legal, right? Everything we need to know to take our ideas from an idea, a project, something that could be into an investment ready opportunity. And so for me, I graduated in the Hidden Genius project like, yo, this was great. This was amazing. Because of where I was mentally, I didn't get to capture all of the value that was in the 15-month immersion. But as I continued with my journey with Fix My Kicks, I realized that, yo, Hidden Genius gave me so much empowerment as to where I need to go next. And now I'm here and I'm just not sure what to do. And so me, like Hidden Genius, they supported in those next steps and like, yo, all right, we see that there's a few of y'all who have ideas y'all want to take to the next level. They brought some amazing talent from all over, folks at a bunch of different companies who have been really amazing, insightful, and supportive, and just excited to help us think through our projects and companies. And so it is truly been an amazing experience, and I think it's what Hidden Genius Project needed. And I'm really excited to be a part of the first round and to continue to see it grow and for more geniuses to get this amazing opportunity.
Definitely. So I think that brings us to our close. I don't have any more, I guess, itemized questions for you. Do you have any last words you'd like to share?
No, that's solid for me. I'll give the plug. Thank you all for watching, and y'all can keep up with me at Hood Hippie Jamestown on IG or Hood Hippie Jamestown the YouTube channel, as well as the Fix My Kicks at Fix My Kicks on IG or Fix My Kicks TV the YouTube channel. Thank you. I appreciate y'all for having me. Thank you, brother Kyron.
No problem. I appreciate you for sharing and for being open with your story, and also, being open with your tips, because there's a lot of people who, they get it and they're gone. They don't give it back.
For sure. We can't do that. It's all for the community.
Definitely appreciate you.
For sure.
And I think that brings us to our close.
Solid. Awesome. Thank you.